Hello, this is Piero San Giorgio. I'm here today in colonial Kingston, New York, a beautiful place in the Mohican building with Gerald Celente. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
For those of you who maybe don't know Gerald, you have been forecasting accurate trend for so many years. It's such a pleasure to be here for your conference. Can you tell us a little bit about the conference, what you're doing here in the Mohican?
First of all, this is the Hudson Valley. This is the first area settled by the Dutch. This is the foundations of democracy were sown in this area. The Constitution of the United States was copied from the New York State Constitution, which was written right across the street in the courthouse. And the land that the courthouse is on, and the old courthouse, is the original. Down the street is the 1777 Senate House. It's the oldest public building in America. It's not old for Italy, but it's old for here. And the four corners over here are the most historic four corners in the United States. The only place on each corner where there's a stone building that predates the Revolutionary War. So this is a very important area, not only of what we're doing, but of what America used to be about and the foundations upon which the principles of this nation were built upon. This past weekend we had a conference. It was called History Before It Happens. And we had people from all over the world, including from Switzerland and from Australia and from Hawaii, and from Japan, and from Alaska, people from all over, coming here to learn how we forecast trends, the trends that are going to be developing in the future, and what you can do to help direct those trends, how to avoid the negative trends, profit from the positive trends, and to understand how the current events form future trends. So it was a watch, a look, and a listen type of conference. And around it all, and the foundation upon which it was built, are two building blocks. One is that if you show the people later on, these are our offices. And our offices are filled with beauty. Beauty in art, beauty in culture, beauty in design. And the second part of the foundation upon the meeting is think for yourself. Don't let anybody sway you. Know the facts and make up your own mind. My dear father, may his soul rest in peace. He was originally from Vica Quenz, down near Pompeii and Sorrento. When I was a little boy, I'd be driving along with my father in the car, and I'd be shooting my mouth off, and he'd look over at me, and in a dialect from Vica Quenz, he'd say, "Papa wow, parrot, papagayo." Stop repeating what everybody else is saying and think for yourself. I heard that about 4 times, 5 times, and I realized that before I opened my mouth, I better know the facts, because I didn't want to be Papa Wapa, because I respected my father, and I respected all my relatives, my aunts and uncles and grandparents, and I never wanted to feel foolish in front of them. So you learn to lose your ego, and you stick with the facts. The meeting here, there were 2 things that we attempted to do, that we believe we did. One was to provide information that people wouldn't find anywhere. And we did that. And on a number of levels. The CEO of the Trends Research Institute, his name is Gerald Celente. And he was the executive editor for the Gannett News Service, which is the biggest newspaper chain in the United States. And he and another gentleman that puts our Trends Journal together, they talked about the inside of what actually goes on in the newspaper business. People don't know this stuff. For them, it's just an everyday occurrence. And what they were doing was bringing out from behind the scenes what's in front of the scenes. And as another important element of what we do, it was also bringing art into what we do. So we brought in Eugene Gregan, famous Hudson Valley artist, to talk about the art murderers. Because when you look at the greatness of the art created over the centuries and what they call art now, the art now is like what music is. It's not music. Rap is not music. Rap, you could call it poetry. You could call it verbal expression. But it's not music. You don't have to know how to play the violin to do rap. To play the violin as a master is continual practice for your entire life. To create rap, you need a computer and an attitude. You don't need a talent. So the elements of the conference were that we would show the trends that are developing and show how one person can make the entire difference of a world. And we had as other speakers the commissioner of jurors when they call for jury trial. And he's a historian. And he came in and told about the area and the academy where we held it at, the 1774 Academy, and the famous people that went to school there. And he said, as he was talking about all the different events that happened here, including the abolition, the end of slavery, famous case, right, at this courthouse. One woman. And as I pointed out, with the genocide being committed against the Palestinians now, that one man started the whole Zionist movement. Like him, hate him, believe him, disbelieve him, whatever. Theodore Herzl from Budapest. One man. George Bush, one man. Tony Blair, one man. Berlusconi, one man.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people are following the Trends Journal, which I'm subscribed myself, and that was certainly one of the sources that brought me to write my books when I started many years back. And today, the trends seem also quite, there's a lot of bad trends. You mentioned the risks of war, the risks of terrible economic collapse that is upon us, of financial fraud and collapse across the United States and the world. I've seen that you want to focus on the positive, and it's really what we should do. However, can you tell a word on what you think the next few months might bear as further bad news in today's world?
Well, the bad news is what's going on in Ukraine. It's right next door to Europe. According to the European Union, Ukraine is European. So look at the problems you're having now with the sanctions. Look how that's going to affect the European economy. Winter's coming up. What are gas prices going to be costing people? 30% of the gas comes from Ukraine that services Europe. What if war starts spreading into Europe? What if errant missiles start falling into Czech Republic or Poland?
We're in trouble.
What happens with the Israelis? They're attacking Gaza. What if something starts happening between them and Lebanon? Then you're going to see a war break out. And people forget this. Israel lost the war against Lebanon the last time around. They could beat armless Gaza, people in Gaza, with Israel's 236 F-14s, with their thousands of tanks, with their tens of thousands of armored personnel carriers. They could beat nearly defenseless people but they're not going to be able to beat Hezbollah. And it'll start spreading into a regional war if it's not stopped. So I can't say what's going to happen, but I can say if the trends continue, this is what you can expect. It's also happening at a time when the global economy is destabilized. Now you throw a pressure on top of that, and it crashes it. That is the fear.
In my book, I try to give solutions to people on how to survive the economic collapse. One of the things that I picked up in this conference was that you try to give the message of hope, but also to act for influencing society and try to bring peace. You launched yesterday the occupypeace.us website and ideas and movement. How do you see that spanning out over the next few months?
Well, I mentioned that this is the cradle of democracy. The roots of democracy were planted right here. And every one of the founding fathers, beginning with Washington's farewell address, no foreign entanglements. It was very clear. So that's what it's based upon. Rebuild America, no foreign entanglements. What are we doing with a base in a military base in Italy? You can't take care of yourself? What are we doing with military bases in Germany? You can't take care of yourself? It's not our fight. You want to kill each other, kill each other. The people in Detroit can't pay for their water. They shut the water off. And now they want to start more wars? What war? They have the Korean War, they lost it. The Vietnam War, they lost it. The Iraq War, they lost it. The Afghan War, they're losing it. The longest war in American history. And now they're going to start more war. How about Libya? Look what those slimy, disgusting people did.
They destroyed the country.
And who were they?
Yeah, the Sarkozy,
Sarkozy,
Obama,
Berlusconi. They were using the Italian bases to go in and bomb from. And what did the people do? Nah, whoop, 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 whoop. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's the people's fault. The people have turned cowards.
I agree. Now, I come from a country, small country, I'm Swiss. We still have, we're maybe one of the few places left in the world where there is still direct democracy. What's your take on that? Is it something we can
I'm a true
push?
believer of direct. I try to push direct democracy. It's going to be part of the Occupy Peace movement. Let the people vote. You want to go to war? Let the people vote. You want to bomb Libya? Let the people vote. You want to invade Iraq? Let the people vote. Because the people that send us there, they don't send their kids and they don't send themselves. They only send you and your children. And they take your money to do it. As you pointed out yesterday, that America's federal income tax was a result of World War I, the most unnecessary war that any historian ever knows. And there's a picture over there of my great uncle, Giuseppe.
Bersagliere.
Yeah, Basilea, Boccaro, from Ottaville Apina.
Yeah, maybe they met my grandfather on the
and he
trenches.
died. And he died.
Yeah, sad. Huh?
Yeah,
for nothing.
for nothing. He died for sick people that sent them there. And people listened to sick people to tell them how to live.
And Italy knew. They started 1 year after the others. They knew that it would have been a butchery. At least the others weren't sure. It's terrible. The one final question to end in a healthy and positive way is you have forecasted trends about health, clean food, clean water. You are in a very good health. What's your secret? What's your secret for people to be healthy?
Anything I eat of the highest quality. And when you eat a lot of high quality, you need less volume. You don't need as much. And I stay active. I work out virtually every day. And I meditate. And that's a really important part of it. everybody has the movie going on. And it's important to stop the movie as much as you can. And when you do, you let new thoughts come into you. But because everybody thinks they have the only movie in the world. So what I do is I stop the movie. And as I thank the ancestors every day.
The old ancient Romans used to do that.
Yeah, all the cultures.
Yes, it's very important.
And I start with my great-grandmother, whose only photo I have. And she was from Alta Villa Erpina. And I go through the whole list. My parents, my aunts and uncles. Think of all the cousins, all the great aunts and uncles, and all of the ancestors. And I thank them for all that they've given me and to guide and protect me. And so the health that I stay in, I believe it's physical, emotional, and spiritual. I was asked a question yesterday that people have heard me say it. My definition of hell is taking that last breath and knowing you weren't the person you said you were or could have been. And I don't want to go to hell. That's
great wisdom. Finally, I wanted to thank you. And speaking of Italy, I want to bring you some biscotti from my hometown in Casale Monferrato in Piemonte, in North Italy.
Oh, Piemonte.
So I don't know if it's super healthy, but they're really good.
I know. As I said, it's not about healthy. It's about eating quality.
That's homemade.
I know. It's quality. You don't eat the whole box at one time.
No.
You don't
could, but
the espresso in the morning.
Exactly.
I know. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gerald.
Honored.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Great.
Okay, we're done.
Put the vacuum. Thank you very, very much. Actually, I also had some Swiss chocolate, but...
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, it melted in the car.
That's all right.
It's still chocolate.
That's fine.
You can still share it with
oh, thank you.